Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's I'm going to be reviewing a 2024 F-150 XL. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford here in Draper, Utah for giving me some time with this F-150. This one is available for sale. They also have more of the higher end packages if that's what you're interested in coming in. They also have some Raptors available as well. So if you're looking for any of that, just reach out and ask for Scott. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.7 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 325 horsepower and then 400 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, pretty interesting with the design. You can see how it kind of like raises up here, and it does divot down a little bit there in the center, but pretty cool looking. My favorite part are the new turn signal indicators. I think that looks really sharp. Again, this is an XL, and I like how the headlight bezel is all blacked out. Same thing here with the grille, and then the new Ford logo really pops. And then you've got the tow hooks there at the bottom, and then this does come with an air dam. And putting it all together, let me guys think about the looks, but especially with those new lights, it looks pretty cool. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 265, 70, 17 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see, again, being an XL, it's got the more baseline wheels, which is just fine. We've got independent front suspension here. It's kind of hard to see that. And then you can see the cut here on the fender. You've got your XL badge here on the side, and then you can see the fixed side step there. And then we've got the mirror caps and the door handles with satin finish. And then this does still utilize, well, a leaf spring, as you can see. And then here's your full side view with the XL. Taking a look at the key fob, we have our lock and unlock function. We got the flip out key, and then you can see the Ford logo there on the back. Now popping into the bed, it isn't dampened with this particular one. No protection or anything from the factory. You can always add bed liner after the fact, but doesn't look too different compared to before. And lifting up the tailgate, it's nice and light. Again, you got the new Ford logo there on the back, and then you got the new taillight design here. Pretty cool looking. Parking sensors here, and you can see satin finish on the bumper. So putting it all together, let me guys think about the new exterior style. But I mean, for a work truck, this actually looks really sharp. Now taking a look at the door panel, again, more basic with material use being an XL. You can see tons of storage here, and you got a little cup holder there. And then we've got cloth seats here with the truck. You can see the trim there. Got under seat storage with a flat loading floor, which is nice. And then these side steps make getting in and out really simple. Legroom back here is great. We've got a little USB port there in the back. And then headroom, it's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel, again, you can see more basic with material use. We've got all of our window controls. Front two are actually automatic. Your mirror adjustments, door lock and unlock. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors too. Payload on this is 1,633 pounds. And then you can see again with the cloth trim there. Got our light controls here. You can see with the parking brake. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. And we got a flip out key. Ooh. So taking a look at the steering wheel, a little bit more basic with the material use, but you can see with the controls, we've got controls for the center, you've got your cruise controls, volume and voice command controls as well. Turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and then this still has a column shifter, which is pretty cool. Plus and minus, so you can shift the gears yourself. That's what that M is for, is the manual mode. And this has a full digital gauge cluster, which is interesting to see in a baseline truck. Got a bunch of different drive modes that you can go through with this as well. I like how the truck in the infographic, it looks like a Lariat, so it's like in the XL, it's reminding you of the truck that you could have gotten, I suppose. Now the lighting's kind of making this difficult, but there is controls here at the top. There's auto stop start, there's this for the camera to turn it on, and then there's hazard light stability control, and there's the camera, and if I put it in reverse, it'll pull up the trajectory lines. Got the zoom function and all of that. So pretty good system. And then yeah, it's got the big infotainment system, response time with the screen. You can see quick, you've got the auxiliary tab there as well. You can see the vents on either side. And also on the dash here, interesting, the trim. And then we got storage above, it says F-150, which is pretty cool. And then you got the glove box below. Got some charging ports here, which is nice. Single zone climate in this, which, you know, pretty standard for more work truck. Got a little coin holder. And then this is pretty cool. So we got a 2-speed transfer case and a rear locking differential with this. Got some USB ports And then this one actually has the bench seat configuration, so we got a seat here in the middle. There is a little bit of storage underneath the seat, and then the top of the seat is, on the back is basically center console. But you do have the drive line here that does get in the way a little bit. Manual mirror dimmer, and then sunglass holder, and then the window in the back is fixed. So here's the window sticker for this 2024 F-150. You guys can see here with the standard equipment. So this is a 101A Equipment Group XL, and this will be interesting for me to see. So 470 for the locking rear axle, and then the boards. So the digital gauge cluster looks like a standard equipment. Interesting. Anyways, 50,110 is the total MSRP on this truck. And let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, but the mirrors do a blind spotting. Throw the rest of the rear, and well, we're actually going to reverse out. Let's set off. Interesting changes with the 24 F-150, and as more of these trickle in, I do plan on doing a lot of comparison videos per usual. So get ready for Ford versus Ram and Chevy and everything else under the sun that has wheels and a bed. So initially setting off, it doesn't feel too different from, and let me move this seat back a little bit. It doesn't feel too different from the 23. I think most of the changes are, at least from what it seems like so far, aesthetic and this stuff here. I'll talk about why I think this is here in a moment, but yeah, so far it's smooth. That's one of the things that's cool about the F-150 is it's a very comfortable pickup truck. Like if you haven't driven a, they did the new F-150 in 21, go drive, geez, peeling out. Go drive a 21 plus F-150. It's a very comfortable pickup truck. Even though it still has a leaf spring. I'm gonna focus, because I think it's so funny. I'm gonna focus on that. Yeah, that person's really racing. 2.7 turbo is not bad. It's a pretty smooth powertrain overall. It's a nice drive. Yeah, for a baseline truck, I mean, these seats are not the most comfortable on the planet, but they're not bad. They're not bad. Yeah, I don't really think they changed anything with the suspension on the truck. I think that it's just aesthetic, which is fine. The new F-150 is a pretty solid package, as is. So I don't think it's something that they had to change a bunch with. Yeah, we'll get an acceleration here in a second, but so far I think it's a pretty nice drive. Well, let's see what this 2.7 turbo is made of. That's got pretty solid power, if you ask me. It's obviously not as crazy as the 3.5 EcoBoost, but still a solid powertrain. Still a solid powertrain. So, summing things up here with this 24 F-150. Again, I'll have reviews on other packages. I'll have comparisons in the future. But so far, it looks like they've just added more equipment, basically. And here's why I think they're doing this. So, now that it looks like this is standard and this is standard in all F-150s, you might think, oh, well, that might make things more expensive for Ford. Potentially, but also, if Ford is only building digital gauge clusters, only building 12-inch displays, they're not building the analog gauges and the smaller displays, that kind of streamlines production with the trucks, which ultimately saves on cost. So I think that that's possibly part of it. Now that we don't have microchip shortages, I think we're going to see a lot more just same gauge cluster, same infotainment system across the board. And with these digital gauge clusters, what you can do is you can just use software to give a custom gauge depending on the vehicle. So like the Raptor could have its own gauge versus, you know, the XL here, for example. So I think it's a streamlined thing. I think it's and you know, for consumers, it's like, oh, you could all get the premium stuff, right? You all get the big screen and all of that. So let me know, guys, think about this. I know that some of you that are, you know, like me, that like the old school stuff, would prefer to still have an analog gauge truck, but you know, can't complain.